Dear students of class 5, I am Mrs. Neha Makkad, and in this video we are going to study the lesson Perseus and the Gorgon. So students, let us first start the reading of the lesson and understand it further. Lesson 5, Perseus and the Gorgon. In the northern skies, if you look up on a clear night, you can see a constellation of stars called Perseus. So children, in the northern direction, if you look up and if the sky is clear, there are no clouds, you can see a constellation. So children, what is a constellation? A constellation is a group of stars which are in a recognized pattern. Sometimes they also resemble a figure or a particular shape. So these group of stars were called what? They were called Perseus. The constellation is a name after a Greek hero who was a half man and half god. So basically children, this is an adaptation. The story is taken from the Greek mythology, and Perseus is a man who's half man and half god. Means he has the powers of God also, and he is but a human being also. So half man, half god. His father was the god Zeus. So Perseus was a son, his father's name was Zeus, and his mother was a beautiful human being called Danae. So Perseus was the son of god Zeus and Danae. When he was a baby, Perseus and his mother were sent away to an island called Seriphos. So now children, where did the son, means Perseus, and his mother, where did they stay? They stayed on an island called Seriphos. So a kind man called Dictys was a caretaker, the father appointed a caretaker named Dictys, and he took them with the son and the mother along with him, and he looked after them, means Dictys took care of them. And Dictys' brother was known as Polydictys, and he was the king of the island. He was the ruler of the island. And Polydictys was a cruel and evil tyrant. So the meaning of cruel, children, is wicked, and a person who causes pain and suffering to others is a cruel person. Evil again means wicked, and tyrant is a cruel or an oppressive ruler or king. So now children, let us revise the characters of the story. Perseus was a son of god Zeus and Danae, and where they did stay? They stayed on the island called Seriphos, and Dictys was the caretaker of the mother and the child, that is Perseus, and Dictys' brother was Polydictys. And let us revise the meanings also. Cruel means wicked or a person who causes pain or suffering. Again, evil also means one who is bad or wicked. Tyrant means a cruel or oppressive ruler or king. So we will continue reading further. Perseus grew up into a strong young man. Okay, so he became a young man, and he was very strong and robust. So he worked hard on the land, and he was very protective about his mother. Protective means one who takes care of someone or who protects someone. One day, the mean king, who was the mean king? Polydictys, saw Perseus' mother and decided that he wanted to marry her. So he had a bad desire of marrying Perseus' mother. He kept trying to meet Danae, that is Perseus' mother, but Perseus did not like or trust the king. Trust means a person who is reliable or truthful. So he did not consider him reliable or truthful, and he did not allow him to meet his mother. So he used his cunning to keep the king away in order to protect his mother. So how did Perseus protect his mother? By using his cunningness. What is cunningness? Skilled in using tricks to get something. So he played tricks so that he could protect his mother. The king became angry because he was used to getting whatever he wanted. So he was a very rigid and stubborn person, and whatever he desired for, he wanted it. How can I get rid of this irritating man? So who is the irritating man? Here, the Perseus is the irritating man here, thought Polydictus. He plotted means he played a game or a trick to send Perseus away in disgrace. Disgrace means loss of reputation or respect. So he wanted that he should lose his respect and reputation, so he can easily send him off, or so that he could never return to Seriphos. So he planned and plotted a game so that he would become a disrespectful figure in the kingdom, and then he could throw him off. Perseus knew that he had angered Polydictus, so he was surprised to get an invitation to a banquet. So Perseus, in his mind, he was knowing that Polydictus was angry with him, but still he got an invitation. So what is an invitation? A written or a verbal request to call someone. Like we give birthday invitation, so the same way it's a request to call someone to a banquet. So what is a banquet? Children, banquet is a special meal that is cooked for lots of people. The invitation made it clear that the king expected everyone to bring horse as a present. Present means gift. Perseus did not have a horse and he could not afford to buy also one. So he could not afford to buy a horse. One means the horse. What shall I do? He wondered, he thought. It would be disrespectful to refuse the invitation also, and so he would have to go to the banquet without a gift. So it was disrespectful to refuse to say no to the invitation also, and to go to the banquet, the dining, without taking any gift with or present with himself. He hoped that the king would be understanding. Understanding means the ability to empathize with someone, to understand someone, or to have love or affection for someone. When Perseus arrived at the banquet, means when he came at the banquet, that is the special meal cooked for lots of people, he realized that the king was not going to let him off. So now he knew that something would happen and Polydictus would say something to him. Everyone was lined up and one by one they gave the gifts to the king. So like how we do in weddings, we line up to give the gifts. So the same way he was also lined up but he had not brought any gift for the king. Thank you, children.